Welcome to the very first episode of Don't Look Down on Me, a service industry podcast where we talk about the highs and lows of the service industry. This is the very first episode. I've recorded this like 3 different times. And the first recording, I had onion rings that were very delicious and very crunchy. So it would have been a perfect ASMR video. But either way, I'm going to record it again, and I'm going to try to be quick because I got to get these kids. Yeah, I'm going to try to make this quick. Anyways, this is our very first episode of Don't Look Down on Me, a service industry podcast. I am very excited. I've been wanting to do this podcast for a long time now. I actually wanted to do like some sort of burn book for bad customers. I've always wanted to make like a burn book of some sort, but it's so hard. Like how would we all tune into the burn book? Well, now you have a place to tune into, and it's Don't Look Down on Me, a service industry podcast. So on this episode, I would like to very firstly point out that I don't know what I'm doing. We're just rolling with it. We're just going for it and see what happens. We're going to throw what we have to the wall and hopefully something sticks. And if not, we're going to keep working at it. This is an opinion-based podcast. Obviously, this is my opinion, my perspective, what I've seen in the service industry, what I've heard of in the service industry. So this doesn't even pertain only to the restaurant service industry. You could be in any kind of service industry. You provide a service for someone, you're in the service industry. It doesn't matter what the service is. Supply, demand. That's what we're talking about here. You supplied something that they were demanding, and then they were mean. I'm just kidding. But yes, this is a service industry podcast of any kind. It doesn't matter where you work. We all get those rude clients, those rude customers, those rude patients. You know what I'm talking about. So also, I'm not going to name names of places or people because I don't want any problems. I don't want any issues. But I'm also, how do I say this? This is not the podcast for people who get offended easily. Hold on. Not get offended easily. Hold on. If you are the type of person who doesn't like hearing somebody talk about how rude customers are, this probably isn't the podcast for you. You're probably the customer, but this podcast is not for you. So we're doing a lot of complaining here, okay? If you're the type of person that's like, you don't like it, get a new job. No. Find new behavior. How about that? So that's my opinion. A lot of people like to say, oh, if you don't like it, get a new job. No, that's not the answer. The answer is more humanity. That's the answer. So we're going to quickly go over this story that I got off TikTok. It was a story that went viral. I want to say summer 2024. I'm not 100% sure, but it was a girl who was sitting in her car. I forgot her name, but I'm not going to give names anyway, so it doesn't matter. Girl A, okay? Girl A was a server at a restaurant, and Girl A got hired by an amazing manager, which are hard to find. If you know, you know. And Girl A, waitress, had kind of had problems in the past being prejudged because of her body weight, and she even said it herself, like a lot of the times, and it's true, a lot of the times, if you don't fit a specific body type or, you know, a specific look that they're looking for, they won't hire you. And if they do, they won't give you hours. And if they do, they'll give you the crappy hours. So she talked about this manager who gave her a chance and then helped her develop her skills in the service industry. So she had a very good experience with this manager, and he treated her very kindly. He showed her a lot of grace, and he showed her a lot of empathy, which is hard to find. So she felt as though he was like an angel. Like, that's really hard to find. Like somebody who actually cares about their staff. So she was thriving, making that money, honey. And then he unfortunately passed away. And she was devastated. But she was even more devastated when they replaced that general manager with another general manager who was horrible to her, made her life a living hell, literally. He would point out that because of her weight, she wasn't doing well. Or he would mention her weight in conjunction to, this is why this happened, or this happened because of your weight. Does that make sense? And she'd never gotten that complaint before. So it was very obviously just like a toxic pattern of behavior from her manager. And it started happening more frequently. He started cutting her hours. He started taking her off the floor early. So she obviously started to feel like, okay, what does he have against me? Like, what's the problem? Well, one day, server A was told by server B, who's her friend, hey, will you tell server C, who's not their friend, to clean her section? Or something like that. Something to that extent. Server C got mad and told the manager in question. Manager comes out and starts blaming server A and saying, you're the reason, and it's because of you, and you're the problem, and this wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for you. So she starts to be like, okay, no. He pushed her to that point, right? And so she starts saying, like, I don't know what your problem is with me. Like, I've never done anything to you. She's in her car telling us what's happening, and her boyfriend actually had to come to her job because she was that distraught. She kept coming home crying because this manager was treating her poorly every time she worked with him. So obviously her boyfriend, her partner, got upset, went to her job, and had a talk with the man. He said, what's your problem with her? Why does she have to come home crying every shift that she works with you? Like, that's obviously, there's something wrong here. So she's in her car, bawling her eyes out. My heartstrings are completely ripped off. I am crying too, because how can somebody treat somebody so poorly? I've seen bad managers, but this story took me back. I was like, whoa. This is actually like really, really bad. And it got to the point where people in the comments were like naming the restaurant that it was, and other managers of that restaurant were like, dude, you should not be getting treated like this. This is a problem. You need to fix it. Report him now. So I think there was a resolution to the issue. But first I want to talk about her bravery. Because doing what she did is extremely brave, knowing that companies can retaliate against you. They shouldn't, but they do. Knowing that she could have been fired, she was like, I don't care. People need to know that this type of toxic behavior exists, and it is so, so bad. And it's honestly, it's unnecessary. Like, we're all grown-ups. This isn't high school. So on this episode, I would like to talk about that, the managers, and how toxic management can be for the work environment. Management that's toxic will somehow bring in and attract toxic customers. Customers that know they can get away with the BS. Customers that know they're lying and they're going to get their way anyways, and then they're going to stiff their server. That's the type of crap that pisses me off. Because now you're toxic, but now you have toxic customers coming in. That's horrible. And nobody gets paid enough to deal with that. I'm going to be honest. So in turn, your workplace turns toxic. And then there's times where managers pit employees against each other. Or they'll treat, their princess staff the way they want to. And then they treat, the other staff members like crap. That's something that happens so frequently. It's honestly surprising if it's not happening. Honestly, this day and age, it's surprising to me if you can go into a restaurant and it not be toxic. So unfortunately, after you leave work, sometimes you bring work home with you. Doctors do it, lawyers do it, police officers do it, nurses do it. Everybody does it. Servers do it too. People in the industry do it too. People that provide a service for you also have to bring that crap home because we're human. And none of us should have to be talked to in a way that is disrespectful and disproportionately out of control. Like, you're getting so mad over something that A, I can't control, and B, I can't fix. There's no solution here except for what I already told you, and they just freak out. Again, you don't get paid enough. You don't get paid enough. So her bravery is one thing, but also the other management that came into her comments and supported her and were like, you do not deserve to get treated like that. You should report him immediately. That was so beautiful to watch because a lot of the times, I mean, there's more bad managers, I feel, than there are good ones. That's just my opinion. That's just me and how I feel in my experience. So when you find a good manager, it's like, I want to hold on to them forever, but you can't. And it's sad. So I feel as though the best advice that a manager can give people that are dealing with this is always write everything down. If you experience some kind of retribution, if you experience some kind of bullying, if you experience something where a manager is putting you in a toxic environment because of their behavior, you need to write it down. Write down dates, write down times, and write down people that were around. Because at the end of the day, you need to come up with evidence to keep your job. And a lot of the times, they don't need any evidence for you to lose your job. Let's be real. They can call you the day of and say, hey, you don't work here anymore. But you got to give a 2 weeks notice. Right? So have your back. Know your rights. Cover your own butts because nobody else is going to do it for you. And this girl, unfortunately, had to go through what I think is pretty traumatic for people to understand that you cannot treat people like this. I don't care if it's the service industry. That's why I named it Don't Look Down on Me. Because every time you think of an incident, it's always because someone's just looking down on you because you're in the service industry. Because you're providing a service for them. They're allowed to talk to you like crap. The buck stops here. It's 2025 and we're not doing this. So, in closing, if you guys have any crazy stories, if you guys have wonderful stories, if you guys have any stories that have any juice to them, please send them my way. If you want me to put them on the podcast, I'll gladly put them on the podcast. If you want me to keep it anonymous, I can keep it anonymous. But I am here for people to have a place to come and share their griefs and to share their grievances about work and how it sucks sometimes. But what do they get told? Get a new job if you don't like it. You don't tell your doctor that when your doctor's had a bad day. When your doctor had a bad patient, you're not like, dude, just find a new job. Why should we have to find a new job because customers want to be rude and tip less than 20% on good service? Why? Why should I get a new job? Why can't you just get better behavior? You know what I'm saying? So this is the place to do all of that, you guys. This is the burn book. I'm so excited. I'm nervous, but I'm so excited. So if you stay tuned up until this part of the podcast, thank you so very much. Support is everything, and I really appreciate it. I'm going to try to edit this video and post this video, and then I'll try to post again on Thursday. I'm so nervous. Either way, I'll continuously post because we're doing it this year, guys. We're making this podcast happen. Please bear with me as I work out all my kinks and I get my system going and find the perfect thing and, get it all the way I want it. If you have juicy stories, send them my way. That's like the most important part of this, okay? You share stories with me, I share stories with you. We can find all the stories together and we can share them to the world. Thank you so much for tuning in to the very first episode of Don't Look Down on Me, a service industry podcast. We will catch you on the next episode. Bye.